Welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors channel. My name is Chris, bringing it to you here from Westlake Village, California. It's another beautiful, bright day out there, and boy, we got a lot to talk about today. I'm going to start off with the hourly time frame as Bitcoin has been whipsawing back and forth according to the dollar strength and its weakness. And I will say this right away. It's coming up right to the 618. That is where your bull traps and your bear traps come in play. And this is what I'm talking right here at 19,655. Any kind of an hourly closure above there. And I would be looking for Bitcoin to take a run back up to 20,350. If we can close above there, next target is going to be 21,500. And I would probably wait for a 4-hour closure above this level to initiate those targets. And so here's what I would say is there's a couple ways I'd be trading this on the shorter term time frames. And again, this isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Just kind of giving you an idea of what I'm looking at right now, as we had some news come out this morning. The Bank of England started unlimited bailouts. That's right. And that's in response to the Fed's raising rates. So I'll break it down for you. As the Fed raised rates in the United States, bond yields have been skyrocketing. You can see here the 10-year, which is down 5% today, went all the way down yesterday. The 10 years at 3.75, the 2 years at 4%, and 30-year at 3.68%. What does that mean? If you have a bond over there in any other country like China, Japan, India, the UK, right? Why would you keep your bond at 2% when you can come to America and get 4%, right? So sell your yen, sell your pounds, and go ahead and buy some dollars. And what we're seeing here actually with the dollar today is a bit of a pullback, and this is actually pretty important. I'm going to put it up on the daily time frame because I do believe we're going to see the dollar come down a bit more. And a critical level being taken out is the 113 level we spoke about yesterday. But I do believe the dollar is going to come down to about 112.50 if it is going to pull a higher low out. I imagine it bounces somewhere at call it 112. And, the last of the Mohicans be about 110. So if we do see the dollar pull back in concert, you're going to see stocks rise, putting in a bit of a bounce as we took out the June lows yesterday not on the S&P, but we did not on the NASDAQ, but we did on the S&P. So we just had slightly closing lower low on the S&P, taking out those June lows. I know a lot of people were watching that area, and we spoke about this as well. Typically, you do get a bounce off the purple 200. Week is not over. Today is Wednesday. It's hump day, so we've left to go in the week. And I'd expect some more volatile price action as the market's kind of deciding what to do with itself, as the dollar has been moonshotting. Target of 114. If we can get above 115, I think that 120-ish target's going to be in clear sight. And that would line up with some of our ideas with Bitcoin. But I want to get back to the shorter term time frames for Bitcoin. And again, any kind of exposure, if we take pretty much this wick right here at 19,671, I would be looking for a drive all the way up to the top side of the range at 20,300. So let's say your entry is here right above this wick. Stop loss is going to be right below the 9 exponential. So I would say, and this line is going to come up as we go. By the way, if you want to set up TradingView and start trading with us, there is a link in the description below. TradingView for free. Get all these indicators for free. And then if you want to pay $20 or something for the year, You can get a lot more indicators. So it is pretty fun if you want to take up trading. But risk right there at 19,250. Actually, I would tighten it up. I would tighten it up, and I would say right below this little call it a gravestone, and then I would target a move conservatively at 20,277, and this is off of Coins Exchange specifically. And yeah, that's how I'd be trading the shorter term time frames at the moment. Now, back on to what I was talking about with and here's why I think there is a great potential for a bit of a fake out here. Another fake out move, as we saw yesterday. When the pound is crashing, all these currencies are crashing, the dollar's skyrocketing to the moon. We're seeing a stock market crash in the US. We're seeing a real estate crash in the US. When we're seeing all these things play out before our very eyes, there's no reason to be bullish, right? Unless you're playing a short-term bounce. In my opinion, again, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but in Europe right now, in the UK, they are saying, hey, we're going to start to run the printing press again. I think the last inflation print they had was around 19% inflation, double-digit inflation, which probably going to hit our shores at some point. They are starting up the printing press. They're going to increase spending, and they are going to lower taxes on the rich. And it sounds great, right? Wouldn't you like that in the US again? They start printing again and lower taxes on the rich. But here's the idea is they want to continue to stimulate growth and innovation, right? Innovation comes when you lower taxes on the rich, you lower corporate taxes on businesses. That will stimulate people to want to go to work again. And in the United States right now, for lack of better or concrete numbers, for every one person who quits, there's 2 job openings. And that's something Powell said. They're not going to stop raising rates until they're not going to stop raising rates until we see a rebalancing of job quits and job openings. So that's it for the shorter term time frames. And I do want to get back onto the 2-day and the 5-day higher term time frame, which is going to give us the greater bias or downside action. And what am I talking about here? And I know I've been hard on this day after day after day, but I can see. So starting off with the 2-day that closed yesterday, momentum is remaining to the downside. For those of you who are new to TA, this is called a stochastic indicator. This shows you momentum. When it crosses down, momentum is to the downside. Think of it as a snowballing or a snowball rolling downhill, and vice versa. When we cross to the upside, like we did here, momentum is going to be to the upside. And I know you can't roll a snowball uphill, or perhaps you could, but think of it as the rocket is just beginning to take. And when we have momentum to the downside, okay, and volatility, this is called the BBWP. This is a volatility metric. When we have volatility expanding, we expect price in the direction of the trend. We're in a strong downtrend. As you can see here, we got lower highs and lower lows. And so what we're expecting is another lower high and then another lower low. And the average move on this signal is about 30%. So if we take from where the signal is given, that is expansion right here off of this candle, the average move is going to be 32% down, which I'm going to take. And again, these are statistics and probabilities, they're not guarantees. But 32% would take Bitcoin down to, call it $13,000. and that is the average. A little less, it could be a little more, but that is what we've seen in the past. Now I want to bring up the 5-day, which we've been talking about. The same indicator, it's momentum versus volatility. The 5-day remained crossed down. We'll cross back up above 19,142, and I would say this: if we do not see this play out here, probably within the next 5 days, then very, very likely the move is done. And where did this move start? In fact, it started back here around this candle. And so the average move downside is typically 42%, and 42% down would bring us right to this level here at about 11,500. And so as long as momentum is to the downside and volatility is expanding, risk will remain to the downside in this market, in my opinion. What else did I want to bring up? Because I know a lot of you guys want to look at some altcoins. And here's where, bear crisis begins to get averted. We got this little blue box, little green box of peace, death, and despair, right? So if we come up there and reject, we'll remain with the downtrend. Move it up to this level right here at 22,394. Any kind of a trend reversal here. So what's a trend reversal on the weekly time frame or on the 5-day time frame? We want to see a higher high. Really, I want to wait for this high. This is kind of was a fake out move going into, I believe that was CPI. As CPI numbers were released, the market got shafted down pretty hard. But here's a trend reversal. I want to see a higher high and then a higher low high. So you want to see 4 consecutive pivots. In fact, as soon as you get the higher high and the higher low, you'll have those 4 pivots. Here's the low, and here's the higher low. So that would be a trend reversal day time frame, a very powerful time, and typically that is going to denote a continuation to the upside for 6 to 12 months at a minimum. On the other side of the fence, we are still in a downtrend, so that remains in effect. And what else I want to bring up here? You see this death cross right here? This is when the infamous death cross, not a perfect cross in my book, as you want to see price action sucked up into the cross and then spit back out. And those are usually the very good ones. And in that case, I want to bring up another XRP. Boy, there are a lot of people in the XRP army. They've enlisted. They're signed up to fight the fight until they die. And this was a perfect death cross. I had a few people in my office, big XRP, and I did tell them, this is a death cross. This is where you want to sell, because typically it will reject on the first pass and you'll get a nice downwards move. And here's what I would say about Mr. XRP right now is we are kind of hanging our last teeth. This is another indicator why I think, or another reason why I think this bounce here is a bit of a fake out. Here's the reason. What am I trying to say here is that some of the altcoins are really not bouncing. They are just barely holding on for dear life. Ethereum Classic, Ape, some that I've been keeping an eye on. Bring in a little bounce, but something I've noticed is if Bitcoin's bouncing and the altcoins are not, it's usually a weaker bounce that tends to get faded. But if we get back below the bottom side of this range here, and you could put it, and I do believe XRP has more down to go, but this is kind of the breakout level right here at 38 cents, any kind of a 5-day closure. And I would expect XRP to come back down to about 31 cents. the bottom side of the range. But hey, if the dollar continues to go down and the stock market continues to go up, we could be talking about a greater bounce. Plus, supposedly there's some news out there that XRP is going to win a lawsuit. If that happens, all bets are off for a downside move. But I guess that's their last bit of hopium. Overall, I do think because of what's going in the stock market, the time of year that we're in, this is September, which is notably one of the worst months for the stock market. Trades in tandem with the NASDAQ. Whatever NASDAQ does, Bitcoin does. As you can see today, NASDAQ's up 1.5%, Bitcoin's up 2.5%. So the dollar needs to hold on for dear life here if we're going to get more downside. Or, if you're a bull, right? If you're a bull, then you want the dollar to just get shafted and come back down. I personally don't see how starting stimulus again is causing the dollar to go down. It just doesn't make a lot of sense in my book. And with the way the bond yields have been just skyrocketing as the U.S. is raising interest rates, they said we're going to do another 75 basis points next month and another 50 basis points and then 25. So they're talking about, I think, somewhere around 4.6% by the end of the year. And then we had the Fed chairman Fed Chairman Evans yesterday said that maybe coming into spring next year, they will take the foot off the brakes and stop raising rates only if there are no other kind of wild cards that, no new coronaviruses, no new wars that, all bets are off. But I think that's going to wrap up my analysis for today. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe if you want to get updates on future live streams. We look forward to having you guys here, and I hope you have a blessed day.